I just think, life's so dang short, we might as well try to see the world and, I've traveled to so many countries. It's
Yep.
unbelievable. And I feel so blessed and so lucky that I get to do that because to see other cultures and to meet new people and to make new friends and build new relationships with people all over the world,
Yeah.
it's just, it really is a blessing. And
It
so,
is.
okay, so then you end up starting this, mybreakupregistry.com. So
Mhm.
explain to me a little more in detail what this thing is about. And
Mhm.
also, I'm just kind of curious to know what are some of the crazy things that people have like signed up to buy other people in from this registry?
So, okay, so it's actually pretty complicated starting a website. When you're starting a website, that's just like your own website. That's different. You could do that on Wix or Squarespace or whatever. But with a startup type of website, you have to have developers. You have to build it with security measures. People's login information has to be safe. So it was really expensive to start, and I did it in a pandemic. So I spent like 40, 50K to get it built. So just for people out there that think that this is like some, side hobby, that irks me when people say that. I'm like, you have no idea. So
It's work.
it's a lot of work. So basically, it takes like 15 to 18 different platforms to run it. So I can see everything's built in code on Firebase. And I can see what people put on their registries on the back end by logging in and searching them. So how it all works is for the user, you go in and click start your registry and it takes you to the web app, and you can go through it. Kind of leads you through the journey of adding things to your registry or linking your current like Amazon wish list, whatever it might be. You can add things to your registry directly that people can buy for you, just like a wedding registry or a baby registry. Or you can submit for a funding request, and like say you're trying to raise 1,500 for a new apartment, or your furniture all got taken or whatever it is. So your friends could fund whatever amount they want, and participate in that fundraise for you, or a combination of both. So some people do a combination. A lot of people just register for some like household goods. Right now, what I'm fundraising for is preparing to expand. So next, there's going to be incorporated brand partners for experiences. So people could register for like a weekend away at certain hotel partners or travel, or they can register coming up for like health and wellness and things like that. So their friends can sponsor their journey in a deeper capacity than just stuff. So that's the next phase, is working beyond the stuff. So it is very complicated. You have to make, brand partnership deals and bring them in to get LOIs so that you can get, fundraising. You have to have traction. You have to have, an email list, all these things. So it's definitely a lot of work.
So, like, were you always entrepreneurial? Like, did you always have this spirit from maybe as a young girl?
Yes. So I was always working. I always knew I didn't like working for other people, even though I've had to do it in a bunch of capacities. But I always had that mentality, even if I had to work with other people or for other people, that I took ownership in what I do, so that, the way I go about things is from an ownership mindset. So, I started farming when I was 9. I farmed all through high school. My first opportunity to go overseas was when I was in 8th grade, summer after 8th grade, for a student ambassador program in Europe, to be a student ambassador in Spain, Italy, and France. And my family couldn't afford it, so I fed veal calves in the morning before school to be able to afford to go on that trip. So I always just hustled in that kind of way. And then when I started Second City, when I was 20, turning 21, I got the inkling pretty quickly that nobody was going to just hand you a career. You're going to have to work really, really hard for a long time and be like a garage band until you're some sort of overnight magical success. So that's when I started, looking into directing, looking into producing, figuring out how to really nourish my own career from a business perspective, because, the more talents you have, the more um, hireable you are. So yeah, so it's been a journey. I started my first production company in 2013, started my second in 2017, and then I worked with a lot of startups and brands over the years as well. So everything kind of just came full circle, and starting a startup, it just kind of made sense.
When did you know that you were funny?
Um, it's funny you asked that, because I just headlined in Janesville, Wisconsin this last weekend. One of my good friends from high school came, and he was like, here's when we knew. And this was when I knew too. In my high school, so this was like before social media, obviously way before even smartphones or anything like that. I would carry these little notebooks around with me everywhere, like the little memo pads. And instead of being able to film what was going on, I would take pictures of things with disposable cameras, and then like write all these notes and funny clips and quotes and things that people would say. And then I started coming up with my own, funny ideas and concepts, and I would write those down too. And people would have me read those at parties. So they'd be like, bust your thought books out. Let us know what you've got, what you got this week. And it'd be ridiculous stuff. It'd be like, some stuff probably wouldn't be appropriate to share. Just because I was young, and it would be like, what the heck does that even mean? But it was very like one-linery type thoughts. And so I started getting invited to older kids' parties, because they wanted me to entertain them. We would party in cornfields on the back of trucks. And so I would read these at bonfires and like drink beer with the older kids. And it was the first time I felt like that really bonding capacity, and that ability to really entertain and hold a room, probably about 14 years old.
And so is it hard? I mean, because or is there anything that, because when you go on stage and people are heckling you, or maybe you say something that's not funny and the room goes quiet, I'm sure every comedian has experienced things like that. I mean, is there anything that you do, or do you kind of have a one-liner to shut hecklers up? Or tell us a little bit about some experiences that you've had, good and bad, from the stage.
Yeah. Time really creates the capacity to handle whatever's thrown at you. There's nothing that concerns me now. I don't really have jarring material for people as far as abrasive political commentary or things like that. So it's rare that I get heckled from like an anger perspective. Usually when I get heckled, it's somebody's drunk, somebody thinks that they're the center of the show and wants to like make the show about them, which it's not. It's usually things like that. Like they're just talking and being oblivious to the fact that you can hear everything from stage. So there's certain times where it's worth mentioning. If it's somebody in the back that doesn't realize they're being loud when they're talking, that's one thing. But if somebody's kind of interrupting the show, I try to come at it from the perspective of, this person's not trying to harm you. They just don't understand. So, I gladly handle those things with a nice demeanor. I think I'll still like fuck with them, but I don't do it from like a shut up perspective. It's just more like, all right, you want to be the center of attention? Let's show you who's boss here.
If you like this video and you would like to watch another clip, click right here. If you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.